For operational security concerns, all volunteers for Zero Line were told not to update our location or post any videos until a week after we got home.
We're broken down for a third time, but this time it's in Ukraine. We just crossed the border and the car started heating up again. So we pulled over, and immediately two Ukrainian guys pulled over with us who we didn't know and offered to help. But we just have to wait, and we know what to do. So, but really nice hospitality, but you could tell, maybe you can hear it, and it's smoking. So it's actually smoking more now. That might not be good. Before I get into the video, a little context on how and why I ended up volunteering in Ukraine. So my brother is a 3-term state congressman in Ohio, and this year he's running for Ohio State Senate.
Casey Weinstein, he's for us.
He got invited to go by a connected individual, but my brother couldn't go because, of course, this is an election season, so he's pretty busy. My brother asked me if I would like to go in his stead, and after a quick interview with one of the founders of the organization, I was allowed to take his spot on the team. Speaking of the team, the organization that we volunteered with is called Zero Line Logistics. They're basically one of many volunteer groups working in Ukraine, from large ones to small ones like Zero Line, that gets donated vehicles and supplies into Ukraine where it is most needed to support the war effort. Our Zero Line convoy was entirely made up of vehicles donated from Finland. The plan was for the volunteers in Finland to drive their vehicles down into Rzeszów, Poland, where they were going to meet up with myself and the rest of the volunteers from America. Once there, we got all the vehicles ready, and then the next day we convoyed it 30 to 40 vehicles strong across the border crossing into a border crossing name that I cannot pronounce. And from there we headed to Lviv, Ukraine. We were in Lviv for a couple days, and then from there we convoyed it 7 hours east into Kyiv, Ukraine. We spent a couple more days in Kyiv, Ukraine, and then we all busted all the way back across the border into Rzeszów, Poland for one more night before we all flew out back home the next day. For the first time in my travels, this is not a sightseeing vacation. We were there to work and volunteer with a legit organization, and we had a job to get done. Now that being said, we did manage to have fun along the way. I met some great people, and we got to see some cool things as well, so that's in the video also. Now you know the context, back to the video. Alright, I just made it to Poland. We were traveling all day, and we're here. So we got into what we thought was our hotel. Me and two others were the three earliest people to arrive. Everyone else is arriving tomorrow. And so we thought that our hotel was here because we're meeting at the hotel, but actually this is where we're meeting the convoy, and we're not meeting them for 3 hours. So we're just gonna chill here. Then we're gonna meet the convoy, and we're gonna drive it to our actual hotel, which is about 25 minutes away. So still trying to get there, but looks pretty good so far. All right, we're at the Ostoja Hotel in Poland. You can see all these vehicles I'm passing are part of a convoy of vehicles that we're going to deliver into Ukraine the next couple days. These are kind of regular vehicles. We have some ambulances, some semi-trucks, and some fire trucks. Like here's an ambulance here. So we will be driving these in the next day or two into Ukraine. All right, next morning, that's Joel, right? We are refueling one of the 30, 40 vehicles that we're going to take into Ukraine tomorrow. So we're getting them all fueled up right now. So we're in downtown Rzeszów, Poland right now. We've been here for 2 days. This is the end of the second day. Tomorrow we are going to take the convoy into Lviv, Ukraine. But this is really the first time where we can check out Rzeszów, Poland. Looks pretty cool. I mean, it's nighttime, and so there's not too many people here, but real pretty city center. Glad we got to see some of the city because we're going to head out early tomorrow morning. All right, we are almost all packed. The car that I'm driving is the Range Rover. I got hooked up. So all 24 of us are packing up the last of the stuff now. And then we're going to head out to the border crossing between Poland and Ukraine. Could take 45 minutes, could take 10 hours from what I'm hearing, so we'll see. All right, interesting update. Our vehicle broke down on the side of the road, and so now Andreas and I are trying to put coolant or water in it, and we are 20 miles from the border to Ukraine-ish. So we'll get some coolant in it and head out. We have broken down for a second time in some tiny Polish village. That guy behind us was trying to help, but had no idea how to communicate with us. There was another neighbor there that was coming out. People are kind of staring at us, just broken down on the side of the road. We're waiting for our friends to go get some water and coolant, so hopefully we can make it all the way to the border.
So now we're doing it properly this time. Now a drop goes past. Can someone check if it's going straight to the asphalt?
Definitely leaking. Our Polish neighbor is helping us out now. Okay, we're making a new plan on the fly. I'm going to drive the other car. Ville, who knows what he's doing, is going to drive the Range Rover really slowly. We're going to drive with hazards on all the way to the border. All right, we're finally on our way again. I'm now driving with Leo. We are in the Nissan Xterra, whatever. And so we're following the Range Rover. We're going really slow. We're going to try to make it to the border and just transfer to this car to cross into Kyiv Lviv. I'm making Leo listen to Cannibal Corpse. All right, we are approaching the border to Ukraine. We're going really slow because I was driving the car in front of us, but it has coolant issues, obviously. So we're gonna hopefully meet up with the rest of our crew here. They might have already started crossing. We're stopping, if you can see here. We're close to the border now, and we will see. Hopefully we don't have to wait too long. We are at the border crossing here. That is the official border crossing. This is the first one. So we are still in Poland, but right once we get beyond there, we'll be in Ukraine. Hopefully we won't have to wait too long. There is, I don't think this is too long of a line, and it's been moving, so hopefully an hour or two, we'll see. Killing time at the border crossing.
Yes.
In Ukraine. So we just made it past the border. It took about 2 hours. Not too bad overall, but I cannot drive past 40 kilometers an hour right now. So we are driving to a repair shop before we get to Lviv. One of many cemeteries we've been passing in Ukraine. Packed. We're broken down for a third time, but this time it's in Ukraine. We just crossed the border and the car started heating up again. So we pulled over, and immediately two Ukrainian guys pulled over with us who we didn't know and offered to help. But we just have to wait, and we know what to do. So, but really nice hospitality, but you could tell, maybe you can hear it, and it's smoking. So it's actually smoking more now. That might not be good. Nothing like being broken down in Ukraine. We're near the top.
That's an angry beast.
It's bubbling up. I don't want to go. It's bubbling over. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm going to scoot back. All right, everyone and their mom is passing us because we cannot go above the 50 kilometers an hour or the car will heat up and we'll have to pull over and pour more coolant in it. So you can't really see, but there's a long line of cars behind me, eager to pass. We have made it to Lviv. We've been navigating the city for about 10 minutes now. It's a Wednesday. I don't know if you can tell, but there's actually a lot of people out walking around. And you would not know that this is a city and a country at war being invaded because it's a Wednesday night, but man, everyone's out and about walking around. All right, we made it to the repair shop in Lviv, Ukraine. These mechanics work for free overnight. These are important vehicles that we're taking to the front lines. Our vehicle's over there, it's next, but we made it. Cheers, we made it.
Cheers.
Here's our car.
Head gasket
Mechanics are talking it over if they can save this car or not.
Yes. Okay. The head gasket blown.
So once we bring the cars here, the next thing is they paint it. They painted camouflage for the front line, so that's what he's doing here. He's painting it. This car is freshly painted and ready for the front lines. All right. We are having a night out on the town in Lviv. Those are my Finnish friends who are helping with the vehicle deliveries. And yo,
Let's go.
So you would never know this country's at war. It looks like a pretty typical European night out, and it's a Wednesday, and it's just like a ton of people out. All right, we're going down into a medieval bar in the basement. in Lviv. Oh, this is cool. Check this out. There's people eating in there. This restaurant is so cool. Here's our table. I was gonna... I pulled the sword from the stone, so I am now King Curtis. So there is a curfew in Lviv and other Ukrainian cities at 12 o'clock. It's currently 11:45 p.m., but my hotel's right there, so I can get right back in. There are some people around still, and it's 12 a.m. curfew. I think the other cities that are closer to the Eastern Front are 10 p.m. curfew. So going back to the hotel now. All right, so one of the Finnish guys asked me if I could switch rooms with him so he could be with his friend, and I said okay, not knowing what room I'd get, and I guess I got one of the best ones in the hotel, and I have this room all to myself. Not bad for Lviv, Ukraine. Showing up in style. There's a little bit of a city view, hard to see out there, but look at this just for me. Woo! And here is Lviv during the day, just outside of our hotel. Can't go down there now because that's my crew and we're about to leave. But that's the city center down there that I was at last night. And this is our Hotel Leopold. It was really nice. So we're at a Ukrainian hospital right now. We're unloading some supplies right now. Later on, we're going to go in there and tour and meet some Ukrainian veterans who are currently rehabbing. So we'll do that and then head out.
My name is Nadia, and now I want to say thank you, Veteran Coalition International, for providing for us free scooter for people who have treated and rehabilitation in our center. We are biggest medical institution in Ukraine. In our facility is 2 hospitals for adults, 1 for kids, 2 rehabilitation center, and 1 maternity house. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Slava Ukraini!
All right, today we are driving this bad boy. That's Levi, another Finn. We're gonna take turns driving. We're going to Kyiv today. We're gonna gas up real quick and then head out. So we're all done filling up here. We're just organizing the team members before we head out to Kyiv. Right now we're on the outskirts of Lviv, and it's about a 7-hour drive to Kyiv, Ukraine. Kyiv is about the middle of the country, but it's way more east than Lviv. More of a chance that we might run into some issues with regards to Russians, but I doubt it. So 7-hour drive to Kyiv begins. There's a lot of these type of buses in Lviv.
You know, so it's like marshutka. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, they don't have the best public transportation, I guess, so it's mainly buses, and there's just a ton of people walking.
One thing I noticed while road tripping across Ukraine was that in every single village or town we passed through, they all had an Orthodox Christian church, which is the main religion in Ukraine, right next to the town's cemetery, and most Orthodox churches had gold domes or were otherwise brightly colored and very pretty.
Almost all of these houses have their own gardens, and I see a lot of babushkas and other Ukrainians out here tending to their gardens because they pretty much all grow their own food, and that's kind of from like the communist leftovers where everyone was supposed to be self-sufficient. These houses here are pretty nice, but you can see there's a lot of like this. Look at this little cornfield there just for that house. So they all pretty much grow their own food. We've got not 1 but 2 Orthodox churches here, and we're on the outskirts of Rivne. cutting through on our way to Kyiv. I love these churches. Most of them have golden domes, but they all look pretty unique.
Another thing you can't help but notice is all of the wheat fields as far as the eye can see. Before the Russian invasion in 2022, Ukrainian exports made up more than 10% of the entire global market, and agriculture within the country made up more than 40% of its entire export income. Russia has since targeted Ukraine's grain import facilities with airstrikes, thus crippling its economy, and it wasn't uncommon to see entire wheat fields left untended.
How's it going, Levy?
Pretty cool, pretty cool.
You won't let me touch you even though I gave you sausage? I got sausage fingers. I just fed this Ukrainian doggy the last of my sausage, but now she wants more. That's all I got, buddy. Might be hard to see, but look, it's a rainbow! It's the most rain we've had all trip. Might have to pull over. I got it. A bit of an unexpected turn of events. My passenger and co-pilot Levy was called to service to help another car in our convoy help unload with a semi-truck that we have. So that means I am now driving by myself into Kyiv, Ukraine in wartime with a truck loaded full of supplies. I'm the heaviest of the lighter trucks driving in the convoy. I don't exactly know which hotel or where it is in Kyiv. I've obviously never been in Ukraine. The streets are pretty tight, but hey, I'll figure it out. All right, we're getting into the thick of the city now in Kyiv. I still got about 15-20 minutes to go, but we're closing in on it. Despite the bad weather, everything's going well. Still by myself. I know where the hotel is, and we should be good. Victory! I currently just pulled up to the hotel in Kyiv. I'm in a line right now waiting to drop off my vehicle so they can unload the supplies. And that was an unexpected turn of events for the last 2 hours driving by myself. But hey, I manned up and I made it. All right, I'm in Kyiv. It's nighttime. It's raining balls. I have no idea where anything is. Curfew is at 11 p.m., so I'm going to go out and explore. Looks like I found the main city drag in Kyiv. It's about 9:30, 2.5 hours till curfew, but I'm gonna try and find a bar, get something to eat. I hear oons club music. Oons. That's where I'm going. Alright, I found a cool bar called Lover Boys. People are dancing. I'm gonna get a beer. We got a DJ rocking. We got a cool bar. We got a cool patio. And an even cooler view. Alright, that bar was cool. It was called Lover Boys. It was pretty much only women in there. I met a few of them and they told me that they are called Ukrainian Valkyries. They're a group of women who are training in military armor and weapons. And she said they had them out there today doing squats with AK-47s above their head. And so it was a private event just for those women. And I showed up just when the event was ending. And they let me in. So it was just me and a bar full of Ukrainian Valkyries. So it was pretty cool. I'm glad I went out. Although I'm not religious, I love me some European Gothic architecture. And this church behind me does not disappoint. It's right behind our hotel in Kyiv. So these are some of the convoy vehicles behind us. We're dropping them off with Ukrainian soldiers right now. We've got some supplies unloading, and we're also going to check out the Mother of Ukraine statue. So this is the Mother of Ukraine statue. It was put up right after World War II in the Soviet Union, but if you notice the shield, they've taken down the Soviet Union side and put up the symbol of Ukraine. This thing is so tall. So this is a Russian vehicle, got lit up by Ukrainians. See the Russian symbol. from the Kursk region, where Ukraine is currently going into Russia. So you can see it got lit up.
Member of Parliament. He's been very active in the defense for the last 3 years. He got confiscated weapons from the Miami Police Department, shipped
Wow.
over in large quantity from here.
Nice.
So weapons confiscated in the U.S. are now defending Ukrainians from Russian killers. And there's a million other things, but thank you, Mary.
First of all, of course, thank you for being here. As I always say, I have to be here. It's my duty, it's my country. You don't have to. So it's an extra effort. We really appreciate it. We choose to live in dignity, and we choose to fight those bullies that turn into the biggest assholes in the world. And I think that's what unifies us, and what unifies us is that we love freedom. That's how American nation started. You didn't want a big bully telling you how to live. We do not want either. I think that's the essence of life, to live in dignity, and it's impossible to do that, to live in dignity while you're a slave. We do not want to be one, and what brings us here are these universal values. So thank you for being here. Every little bit helps. This helps, and also have no question that these vehicles do save lives.
These are one of the vehicles that we donated from Finland. It's a large backhoe getting unloaded now at the drone factory. We're handing off this fire truck to some Ukrainian soldiers who I'm not getting on film. Here we go. There you go. Oh yeah. That's a good one.
Oh, honey.
Не хочеш? Май. Я, блядь, йому жарко.
Once I knew I was on the team going to Ukraine, a side project I undertook was to involve students in a voluntary letter writing campaign to Ukrainian soldiers. After all, I am a public high school history teacher. However, I am not teaching this year, so I had former colleagues from the middle school I taught at my first year to help me out. Overall, I presented the commander of the 241st Brigade, in charge of roughly 4,000 Ukrainian troops, about 50 letters of support from American students. One of the things I was told by the Ukrainian soldiers was how much they appreciate American support, and I received word the very next day from our military escort that the brigade commander ensured that all of the letters reached his troops currently fighting on the front lines and that they were well received.
From Commander Brigade of 241 Brigade for American kids who make those letters for Ukrainian soldiers. Thank you very much. And Alexander Mykolaievich Voloshin is signing this flag for you in appreciation. And thank you for your teacher who teaching good students, good kids. Thank you very much.
U.S. Air Force, the best branch of the military. Here's some of the supplies that we unloaded. These are a bunch of laptops and batteries. There's a bunch more boxes here as well. And this is kind of a fraction of what we brought here.
And where this IT equipment is going is to over 10 different battalions that need IT equipment, laptops, smartphones, screens for situational awareness of the front lines and fusion centers. And the place we are now, the engineering corps, has 130 engineers, designers, and builders, and they're going to be taking some of the IT equipment as well.
This factory made home electronics before the war. However, once the full-scale Russian invasion happened, the owner, like most Ukrainians, repurposed his business to benefit the war effort and started retrofitting donated and captured military vehicles to meet Ukrainian battlefield needs, as well as innovate, test, and mass-produce new drone technology. Due to a lack of manpower, the Ukrainians have been forced to innovate and are very resourceful when it comes to drones. I received permission to film only parts of this drone factory, though the location is known to Russian intelligence and has been struck by missiles in the past. There were many different drones, each with its own specific purpose, and various other technologies we saw that were extremely advanced and impressive. However, I obviously could not film them due to operational security concerns.
Wow.
Huh.
Whoa.
Wow, check it. That's punch, okay.
That's punch? Whoa.
That's fantastic. These are all...
No way.
Whoa, what's it? Just me and a bunch of Finnish dudes. Or just those two.
And me as well.
Bunch of Finns. We're about to take a shot.
Aina kun mä rakennan kännin, aina kun mä rakennan kännin, saan.
Okay, so I lost my Finnish friends and curfew is in 30 minutes and I have about 15 minutes to get to my hotel, but I'm not exactly sure where my hotel is. I think I'm going the right way, so I have to ask some Ukrainians to help me, but hopefully I can get there before curfew. I don't think it's like strictly enforced, but I don't want to find out. We are at a Ukrainian fire station now where we're handing off some of the vehicles. This big boy. This truck can go off-road. That's why it's so high up there. Inside the fire truck, they got the flak vests, all the equipment. Inside the truck, behind the driver's seat, this truck is really tall off the ground because they go into disaster areas, not just on the streets. This is Kyiv's biggest reservoir.
This is a Kyiv Sea. It's the most biggest artificial sea or lake reservoir. Yes, in Ukraine. So it was done artificial, and here we have a dam. Russian 1 month ago they sent first missile here. This missile was not to destroy the dam at all. It was sent because we here have energy equipment that supplies Kyiv with energy. And they tried to destroy this dam and destroyed one more source of energy for us.
Yeah, just told me that Chernobyl, the power plant, it was power plant failure. It's just on the other side of this reservoir. This is quite the spread this restaurant has for us. So apparently this dish is really popular. I thought it was chicken in soup, but it's not. It's like chicken in gel. So the guy in the white shirt is the Ukrainian soldier who said Russian warship, go fuck yourself on the first day of the war. He's a big celebrity here now.
And Russian couldn't find out who told this phrase.
All right, so we're in Ukraine and we're on the border trying to get back into Poland. We knew it'd be maybe 1 to 4 hours. Looks like it might be 3 to 4 hours. We almost caused an international incident when some of us tried to walk a couple meters ahead to the bathroom, which our driver said we could do, but apparently we could not because the Polish guards came and chased after us. But we made friends with them now, gave them some patches, and they let us go after all of that. So it's still going to be a while, but we are moving up right now. Another thing I forgot to mention that we're noticing at the border is it's almost all women or old men on the Ukrainian side wanting to go over to the Polish side because men under a certain age, I want to say 40, are not allowed to leave Ukraine. So right now it's just a bunch of women and old men and us at the border. All right, it's been 5 hours and we just got past word to get past the border. So, oh my gosh, it's been an ordeal.
After the excruciatingly long border crossing to get out of Ukraine and back into Poland, we were exhausted, and after a quick late-night meal at the hotel, we all departed back home the next day.